Hi, my name is Wendy, and I would like to talk to you today about the importance of spiritual life. So, I feel that many people need to spend a lot more attention on their spiritual lives for two reasons. One is because it's just who we are. You can't get around it. And the other is that spiritual life is the only thing that will bring true, lasting satisfaction to the self. So, first of all, we are spiritual beings. Despite all the disagreements and conflicts in the world religions today, it's the one thing that all of them agree on, that we are eternal spiritual souls. And because we're spiritual souls, then the only thing that's really going to satisfy ourselves is spiritual life. There's not much point living a material life if you're not a material being. So it's just the fact that we're not these material bodies. The material body is like a vehicle. Just like a car takes a person to their destination. But, the importance of the car is not in the car itself, but it's the person in the car who's really important. And although the material body, is a very useful instrument, and just like any kind of machine, we need to maintain it. We need to put oil in our cars. We need to take them for a tune-up from time to time, repair them if they break down. But ultimately, the car is only valuable because it's functional for the person. The real important thing is the person. So in the same way, the person is the soul, not the body. Now, to illustrate this point, there's an anecdote of a lady who was given a pet bird. And she was delighted, of course, with her pet bird. So she went down to the pet shop, she bought this beautiful cage, brass cage, and she put the bird in it. So every morning she would go down, clean the cage inside, polish and dust and polish the outside of it until it was shiny. She did this for a few weeks, and then one morning when she got up, she was horrified to see that the bird in the cage had died. So she phoned up the friend that she got it from, and she said, something terrible happened. The bird just died. And so her friend said, well, what were you doing? And she said, how were you taking care of it? So she said, well, I was polishing the cage, I was cleaning the cage. And he said, but what were you feeding the bird? She said, oh, I wasn't feeding the bird. So her friend was like, well, duh, of course if you don't feed the bird in the cage, it's going to die. So in the same way, this body is like a cage, and the soul is the living being within the cage. And we may take, if we spend all of our time and energy just taking care of this body, cleaning it and dressing it and beautifying it, getting our hair done, getting plastic surgery or whatever, trying to make the body beautiful, but we're not nourishing the soul, then no matter what kind of material arrangements or what kind of material adjustments we try to make in our lives, we're always going to feel empty. We're always going to feel like deep down inside, we're just dying. And that brings us to the next point, which is that spiritual life alone can make us happy. So a lot of research has actually been done on this point. And in 2016, Time magazine published a special edition called The Science of Happiness, in which it was discussed that there's a clear correlation between a person's involvement in a religious organization and happiness and longevity and ability to be flexible in relationships, ability to be resilient within the ups and downs of daily life. So this was all very clearly shown. And that's because it's really feeding ourselves. When we actually nourish ourselves, we become internally strong, and that makes us happy because we're acting according to our nature. And when we act according to our nature, of course we're going to be happy. So then if we want to have a happy, satisfying, and balanced life, then we need to really pay more attention to spiritual life. Because after all, we are spiritual beings. Thank you very much.